Hey love, and welcome back to another video. I'm your girl Pauline, your virtual loctician, and I'm here to just share a bit more about some things that nobody really talk about and that you should know. Today we're going to be talking about the truth about fine, low density hair and microlocs, okay? People don't talk about this enough and you guys need to know. As you can see, I'm going to be showing you different images, different looks, different everything, okay? So you can truly understand and grasp what I'm talking about. So here's the thing about fine, low density hair. Your hair is made up of three layers: the cuticle, the core, and the medulla. People with fine hair most of the time do not have the medulla. So that means it doesn't have the full thickness or the strength that it needs because it does not have all three layers. So you're working with just two layers, right? Okay, so fine hair people most of the time do not have a medulla. Next, when you're dealing with fine, low density hair, avoid small part sizes. Like, I know y'all want them small. I know y'all want them cute, stringy looking locks. I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. Trust me, I get it. But not everyone can have fine, low density. Not everyone can have really small locks. And when I'm talking about small locks, you can't do, if you have fine hair, low density hair, you can't do the 1/8 part size, the quarter of an inch part size. You need to be doing a 3/8 of an inch or bigger. Like this client here, she has the 1/2 inch part size, and you see with the 1/2 inch part size how small it is. It's still very small with a 1/2 inch part size, and it's because she has fine, low density hair. Although we went wider in the parts, she still has small skinny locks. So just because you want small locks, it doesn't mean that you have to do your part so small to achieve it. You can achieve small locks with fine hair even if you go bigger in the part size. The strand will still be small. Okay, so you avoid doing small parts. Try to aim for 3/8 of an inch, half an inch or bigger. Okay, now when your locks are done too thin, if you just say, Pauline, I hear you, but I'm going to do what I want to do, that's fine. When you do your locks too thin, they won't lock. Thin locks, really small locks, have a hard time locking. This is why some of y'all be crying. The locks on the locks on my hairline, they not locking. They not doing this. They not doing that. It's because the lock strand needs enough hair to mat together to create a lock. If you don't have enough strands because you have fine, low density hair, and you go really small, and the lock size is too thin, if you go really small, there's not enough strands in the lock for it to mat and for it to lock. So it takes a little bit. Sometimes it never locks. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. And if you feel like, well, Pauline, mine did lock over time. Really? Or did your loctician combine that stubborn lock that just won't lock with another lock? And it looks like still a small lock because you weren't really working with a full strand of lock to begin with, right? So be mindful of that. That's why you see a lot of times people combine their the locks around their hairline. Just because you can put a lock there doesn't mean you should. Okay, so be mindful with your hairline, like around the perimeter of your head. The density is always lower for the most part than the middle. So you can't put the same size locks in the middle that you do in the front of your hair. So be mindful with doing locks that are so thin that they just struggle with locking. Next, when the locks are too thin, not enough strands of hair in there, you're going to struggle with slippage. Okay, you're going to have a hard time keeping that lock in. It is going to want to slip all the time. So that's something to be considered about. Now, some of you guys, you have fine locks because you didn't know any better. Your loctician didn't know any better. They took a class, they learned on YouTube. I don't know, but they gave you some fine locks and it might be working over time, right? Over time, you're like, okay, it's not that bad until your locks pass your bra strap, get to your butt length, and you're like, woo, these fine locks ain't managing as well. When your locks are too long and too fine, when you have fine locks and they're too long, you might want to, I know some of y'all don't agree with this. Y'all not going to agree with me, but go ahead and cut it shorter. Keep it shoulder length. When it's long and thin, it's going to thin out easily. It's going to thin out at the roots easily, and it's going to break easily, especially if you're not consistent with your reties. So be mindful of wanting to wear butt length hair and one lock got like 10 strands in it. Okay. So if you have fine locks, be mindful of that. Okay. I know people want long, they want to grow it as long as possible. Fine, do that. But when it start to interfere and start causing thinning and start, and especially when it's longer, you're not really being mindful of where your locks are, and they start getting caught in your purse, your clothes, your hands, and other things. And then any little tug can snap, cause the lock to snap. So be mindful if you're going to wear your hair long, okay? Another thing to consider, you should not be bleaching your locks if you have fine, low density hair. Already, remember, your fine hair most likely don't have the third layer. It's only working with two. So bleaching, I would advise against bleaching your locks. If you're like, oh girl, I gotta have some color, put the bleach on the ends. So if the ends break off, it's just the ends and it's not your whole hair locks falling out your head. Okay, so just bleach the ends, and something happen, you can just cut the ends off and keep it moving. Okay, but avoid bleaching your locks. Okay, the next thing, don't go too long without a retie. I understand some of y'all feel like, oh, the longer, this client right here does not have fine hair. We just put her in a video because, oh baby, it's cute. Anywho, but don't go too long without a retie. I know some of y'all feel like the longer you go, less tension. Listen, tension is based on the person's technique, the user, okay? Not the frequency, if that makes sense. You can get your hair done every 4 weeks if you want to. And as long as the person is not using poor tension and not pulling and not doing it tight, you will be fine. It's not the frequency. It's the quality. It's the work. It's how it's being done. This person went way too long without a retie. So when you go too long without a retie, you're going to cause thinning in your hair. You're going to, some strands in the lock is going to break off. You see how low that density is in just parts of that lock? Because some strands have snapped off, broke away, and over time, your locks get thinner and thinner and thinner. So please avoid applying going too long without a retie in the name of tension. Just tell your loctician, leave a loop out. And then tell them be gentle when they're separating your hair and when they're working with your hair. Leave a loop out, be gentle. It doesn't have to be tight to the scalp and you're good, right? So just be mindful of that. Do not go too long without a retie. Stay within your retie schedule. Last but not least, for the love of God, for the love of hair, for the love of edges, for the love of everything, stay away from extensions. You don't need extensions. I know y'all want extensions, but extensions is not healthy for your fine, low density hair. It's going to just take it out, okay? It is just going to eventually take it out. So please stay away from extension. It is not necessary. It is not needed, okay? Now, if you're going to put big locks in your hair, that's fine if you want to do extensions. But if you want Sisterlocs, Microlocs, really small locks, and then you have fine, low density hair and you're talking about extensions, no ma'am. It is not healthy. You will regret it in the long run. If you've done extensions and you know what I'm talking about, please comment, okay? Comment, so the folks know I'm not making things up, all right? Y'all, I've been a loctician for over a decade, so I'm just speaking from experience. Y'all, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, share, and do all the lovely stuff. See you guys soon.